Welcome to the complete animation of Dixie from the Fox and the Hound 2. Um, I think I want to start this commentary by just talking about the movie itself. This movie has no reason to exist, and I kind of love it for it. Um, the big thing is that the story that it tells has absolutely nothing to do with the Fox and the Hound. Um, Basically, Todd and Copper run to a fair, and Copper ends up joining this group of singing dogs. And it's like, there's nothing there that requires them to even be animals at all. Like, they could literally just be humans, and almost nothing would change. Replace Copper's owner with being just his dad. Yeah. Um, yeah. And also, like, the whole thing about Todd getting angry at Copper because he's going off and not hanging out with him makes it sound as if this has been going on for months and that the kid isn't able to see his friend anymore. But, in all actuality, it's all happening over one evening. It's what? Maybe noon when they end up actually going to the fair. And over the course of just one afternoon and one evening, their entire friendship is being called into question. Holy cow. um, Narratively, this movie has issues, but visually, holy cow, am I glad this movie exists. This is some of the greatest animation to come out of Disney Toon Studios. Just look at the character animation. It's yeah, you take a character model, and then you draw them doing things, and voice and lip syncing and moving around. Holy cow, this movie just is so expressive and dynamic with its characters. I am firmly of the opinion that if you truly love the medium of animation, then you can appreciate problematic, lackluster stories just because you enjoy watching the work of animators. And this movie is certainly a showcase of that. And it does it by leaning really hard into what modern tools bring. All of these characters are clearly all done completely in computers. I doubt that there's hardly anything, done to physical paper or anything like that, but it does it really well. And there's just something appealing about clean, vectored outlines, but still hand drawn. I don't think I'll ever get tired of it. It's it's not like it's a replacement for real hand drawn stuff. Take the 2011 Winnie the Pooh, for example. That movie really shows you what you can do when you stick to the classic art style, but you just completely lean into all the modern tools of digital art that you have. And I absolutely love it. But at the same time, there is an undeniable charm to, especially when you see it in HD, when you look close, you can tell, yeah, this really is just hand-drawn stuff transposed onto a basically clear piece of plastic. I'm not sure what old animation cells are made out of. And then just laid on top of a background layer. There's some real charm to that too. But this modern stuff, there's a lot of value here as well. A lot of value. Um, yeah, I'll just go out and say it. I think The Fox and the Hound 2 is better than than the original. The original, in terms of story, obviously the first one is beautifully animated as well. Um, but I think that narratively, even this one, with all of its problems, I think is a better, more enjoyable film. Um, and while I think that story wise, I think that this movie has like almost no reason to exist. Like I said before, visually, this movie is a treat. Like, such a treat. And, like, its quality it shows like everywhere. Um, Films around this time, especially like straight to video ones, if you like there's a ton of times when they have like low quality textures or assets and then the camera just can't help but zoom into it. Like just like some of the first Land Before Time sequels that started coming out, where they weren't all hand drawn. They used digital stuff as well. Like there are so many times where it's like a scene just zooms into some texture and is like, wow, I am looking at a compressed JPEG. How lucky am I? But The Fox and the Hound 2 doesn't really have that problem. And so, yeah, like this era of straight to video animation from Disney, like if you watch all the top 10 videos about like, the top 10 best and the top 10 worst straight to video Disney movies, they only care about the narrative. It's just like they only care about the story it tells and how well it's told. And I think that is so short-sighted. Because, like, I am a firm proponent that, like, good animation is the best part of anything here. And good narrative is just gravy on top. But yeah, so, narratively, oh yeah, I totally agree. This movie is, like, totally worthy of going down to the bottom of the bucket. But from almost any other metric, this movie is really good. Like visually, it's really good. I don't think anybody complains about the audio. It's like audio is one of the things that people basically never comment on unless it's bad or really good. And I don't think anybody ever talked about the sound effects of The Fox and the Hound 2 in any of their, YouTube reviews where they're, trying to be so clever about, talking about this movie. But like, yeah, they don't talk about how it sounds, and it sounds just fine. Like, and that is an accomplishment. Like, anybody who works in sound design would probably tell you that if somebody watched something and they never even talked about the sound, they're like, oh good, I did my job. But yeah, let's talk about the actual character of Dixie now. Dixie is actually a pretty fun character. She's got that sort of a Southern Belle sort of a thing going on. She talks with that sort of a accent, dialect, or whatever. And, like, you can tell that her voice actress was having a fun time reading these lines. Especially when, the lines have, like, call attention to the fact that she has that sort of an accent. Like, yeah. And I think that yeah, Dixie is interesting in that she sort of continues the tradition of Disney dogs where, like, for some inexplicable reason, the female dog has extra fur around her head in order to just sell, the full mane of womanly hair. Another good example of that is Rita from Oliver and Company. And then, somehow their ears also lean into it. I think that the Disney dog that was able to sort of do it the most naturalistically was Lady in Lady and the Tramp, because just lean into the breed and just say, oh yeah, she's just got like extra long fur around her ears, but like beyond that, almost nothing about, her fur indicates that she's a female. But yeah, so it's like, it's a Dixie's design is sort of on the nose that way, but it works. And like I said before, just like with the model of the character, the animators here do such a good job of making it move. It's like animators basically have, here's a character sheet where it's like, here's how the character looks from different angles, and here's the storyboards, and here's the voice acting. You need to take those things and make it work. And they do in this movie. This movie, in some ways, is really, really good. And I think it's like good enough to have warranted a theatrical release. Just, yeah. So yeah, Fox and the Hound 2, dumb story, but beautiful movie. Thanks for watching.